Okay. Go ahead and repeat.
Ridley, let's do some drinking. Nice. Oh.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Hour of Power.
Yep, I am Matt. That is Ridley. We're going to be with you guys for the next hour as we have a super awesome time, taking some drinks, having some fun, all kinds of cool stuff. So please feel free to join in. Should be a great time. Hey, we may even try to post this up when we're done, but honestly, it probably depends on how good we end up doing. So, maybe that should be like at the end of every show, we should have a voting thing. Do you try to put it up or do you not?
The better question is, would we remember?
I think that is a very good question.
And cheers to you as the first minute is off.
Woohoo! Excellent. Yeah, we should be good. Let's get right into this. Let's have a little bit of fun. We're going to be talking a little bit about movies to start off with. We are a sports show, so I think the good thing to do is definitely start with the movies.
Throw for a curveball.
Throw for a curveball. We're getting into Deadpool today. So Deadpool is, of course, from the X-Men or from the Marvel universe. He was in the Wolverine. I think it was the first one, which, if I remember correctly, was just called Wolverine.
Yeah.
And he was in that one. He ended up getting his mouth sewn shut and all this kind of stuff. So he was very creepy there at the end. Swords coming out of his arms. All types of good stuff.
Very reprehensible version of him.
Yes, exactly.
And something that they undid, and I think what they're doing or what they're claiming is that basically all of Wolverine or X-Men Origins Wolverine was declared null and void with this whole Days of Futures Past deal. I think that's what they're claiming with this whole spiel, is that
really
Days of Futures Past, everything changed, and so therefore none of this happened, or well, it happened, but it didn't happen.
Interesting. I had not heard that. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's with superhero movies being as big as they are, the thing is that there's going to be so many times when you're going to want to reset and start over again because you can't keep telling the same story over and over again. Well, actually, you can. Hollywood has proved that. All these superhero movies are basically the same, just with different powers.
That's true. And plus, Jackman said this next X-Men movie is his last as Wolverine. So, they're going to have to recast him. They're going to have to figure out a way to spin that or whatever, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Deadpool, he's an anti-hero. He's more or less good, but at the same time, he's amoral, I guess, is probably a good way to put him. He swears, he drinks, he has sex. Like, he's a vigilante on steroids, essentially. Can't die because of his healing factor. Basically, you'd have to, destroy his whole body to kill him. Can't shoot him through the head or anything like that. So he's very unique, and he's the first comic book hero that I'm aware of to break the fourth wall. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but he's one to recognize that he's actually in a comic book, and it sounds like on the movies he will do that. There's a part in the trailer where he sniffs his guns after shooting some guys and goes, "I'm going to touch myself tonight," and looking straight at the camera, talking to the audience. And so it's a whole new take on a superhero I'm really looking forward to.
I am too. I think it'll be really good. I think Ryan Reynolds is great. You know, I do have a little bit of a man crush on him. And what I really like is getting like the fans involved with Deadpool, with the new Super Trooper movies. It's like you're not just making a movie anymore. If you can get that fan involvement, that's really what pushes these movies forward now. And I think that's really cool. It really helps out in the box office. It makes, you know, we're just stupid moviegoers. We have nothing to do with these movies at all, but they actually make us feel like we might, which is a pretty cool feeling.
Exactly. And my understanding is they weren't actually going to make the Deadpool. I think it was they released test footage that they had just basically CGI'd with Ryan Reynolds' voice of the car scene that's kind of shown in the trailer that they released which was obviously done better. But they just used it as test footage. They leaked it, and people went nuts for it. They loved it, and so they're like, holy shit, we may have something here. And so that's my understanding of how the Deadpool movie actually got greenlit, is that there's so much positive response to that test footage that they said, holy shit, we need to do this. And it looks awesome. Like, it looks very funny. It's got TJ Wilson or whatever his name is. He was in She's Out of Your League, and I don't remember what else, but very funny. He has the line about, holy shit, it looks like you face fucked a topographical map of Utah, and which was one of the better parts of the trailer. And the whole movie, like, it's going to be very R-rated.
Good.
It could be very funny and very graphic, and it should just be like, as long as you aren't worried about censorship, it should be like just a dream. It should be awesome. So I'm looking very much forward to it. Now, if you're a Mormon, you're probably scared shitless out of this movie, but to me, I can't wait for it.
Oh, I know. I completely agree. Man, see, this is our problem with having a draft before the show. Because I actually had a pretty good comment to say, and I was waiting for you to finish your statement, and now I've completely forgotten what I was going to say.
You're brain dead already?
Yeah, I'm brain dead already. Well, I mean, a lot of people would argue that I kind of start off that way. So just adding the alcohol to it is, you know, it's just icing on top of my dumbed down cake. But, you know.
Well, that's a pretty flattened out cake then.
Yeah, I know. It's a pretty big cake, too.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, if any of you out there have comments about Deadpool, please let us know. But with that being said, let's go ahead and move on into sports, where, Matthew, as you and I both know, it is fantasy draft season.
Oh my gosh, it is fantasy draft season. I love fantasy draft season. One of the best parts about fantasy football is the drafting. Well, it's not just the fantasy football. It's the fantasy everything. And so it's really one of the best parts. It's so awesome. And, yeah, we just did a draft together, which was very cool. It's a league that, man, we have been in for years now. I couldn't even remember how long we've been in that league. And it's actually was a league that I started. I was looking through some of the history, and they really go back on that history now. And I was able to see back in 2008, 2009, a lot of those people who are in the draft now were in the draft then at that point as well. So it was very cool.
It has been a pretty stable league as far as membership. But now we've had, 2 turnovers these last 2 years, but otherwise it's been pretty solid.
Yeah.
Which is what you really look for in a fantasy football league. I mean, you like to be able to shit talk the same people year in and year out. You have that rapport with them that you're able to, you know, just shit on their cereal year after year.
You mean Sonic on their cereal?
Exactly.
And so, yeah, exactly. So it's really cool to see kind of all that stuff. But yeah, fantasy football, of course, rules. I don't know about you. I have not gotten much into the daily fantasy. for me, you could probably make a little bit of money on it, but I don't have the time. I don't have time to do shit. So I don't have the time for it. I also think that I don't know. I don't totally get the daily fantasy. It's because it's played a lot of the same way as like those playoff leagues are, where each time you have a certain amount of money, you can pick a certain players, all that kind of stuff. It's very different kind of game, but everybody seems to love it. And man, I just can't get behind it. I like having a team and going through the year with them and having, the ups and downs and, oh my God, this guy's hurt, or, I took Le'Veon Bell in the freaking third round. I don't know how he was still available at that point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Took Le'Veon Bell, and yeah, he's going to be out the first 2 games, but shit, I can cover that one. So, sorry, I should say Sonic. I could cover that one. And it's, it's you grow with this team as you grow through the year. I'm already pissed off at the 2 quarterbacks that I have. I was very with the quarterback.
Is that, every week you get more and more invested in, where with the daily money leagues or whatever, the FanDuels and the whatnot, it's just, you pick a team, whatever, based off your salary cap, and then you're good. But like, you don't have those same players to root for day in and day out, or week in and week out. Like, I've got Julian Edelman. I need him to catch 10 passes this week. And then next week, you still need him to catch 8 passes. Like it carries on. And so it's constantly changing. So your rooting interest constantly changes as well. And so does your dog scenery. But anyways, I completely agree. One of my friends here, Cord, he's way into, I think it's FanDuel. And he's been trying to get me into it for probably the last 46 weeks or so, ever since about the middle of last football season. I haven't succumbed to it yet, but he really likes it. He says it's pretty addicting. It's a lot of fun, but it is tough. I mean, you're not given a whole lot of money there to spend on your salary cap. So say you take Aaron Rodgers, the rest of your team's handicapped. You don't have a whole lot of money to spend on anybody else. Sure, you may be able to take Jamal Charles, but guess what? You're taking bottom of the bucket people for the rest of the round. And that's just really tough. Like, the people that can master it, kudos to you, because it is incredibly challenging. But
yeah,
I don't know if I'd be able to wager money on it. Granted, it's only like $1 or $2, but still, it gets tough.
I definitely don't think that you should do it, and mostly because I know you're very detail oriented. You would be so into it that you would probably lose out on something else that you were doing at the time. So you definitely
probably not a whole lot. It's probably either studying or I should say cleaning, but really by cleaning I mean masturbation.
Exactly. Because it's like, I love how this year, I'm going to be – it's going to be a fun year. I couldn't believe – here's the other thing I couldn't believe about the draft we just did. Miles Davis was available with my third to last pick.
Who? Miles Davis?
Miles Davis. Yeah. It's the new piano playing league. Oh, wait. Hold on. Time out. I get this time out. I'm going to go back. This is a Michael thing to do. This isn't my brother thing to do. I got this timeout. Matthew Berry has also started a fantasy movie league. Have we talked about this?
No, we have not.
Where it's like you own a movie theater during the summertime. And so you go all summer, and so you pick so you draft your movies that you're going to have. So I'm going to have this many showings of Mission Impossible. I'm going to have this many showings of How to Train Your Dragon and all that kind of stuff. And you base it on the real box office totals. And so you get however much you have. So it's like fantasy movie league. And I think that is one of the coolest freaking things ever.
That is pretty awesome.
We can time back into fantasy football talk. So Niles Davis was available in like the third to last round. And yeah, Jamal Charles is, of course, the workhorse. He's going to have the majority of the carries and all. But if there is any good handcuff player, if there's any good number 2 that could be a good number 1, it's Niles Davis. I think it's Niles Davis, and I think it's Ryan Matthews over at Philadelphia, who I may have in this league as well. But it's like those are
backups.
Yeah, it's like they're good number 2s that, are going to get a good amount of touches. They're going to have a good touch. It's like with all these running back by committee. Yeah, good insurance policy. So maybe I could trade whoever got
number 1 recruited running backs. If Charles or Murray ever go down, and both of them have proven that they're not incredibly, stable.
Exactly. So that's why I was a little bit surprised that I was able to get him late. So I'm kind of excited about that. However, I did notice that I did not get a backup tight end. So we'll have to see how that goes. I think I went with just Zach Ertz. And Zach Ertz is hurt, I think. So I wasn't happy with tight end or quarterback in that draft. But I was super happy with running back and wide receiver. Yeah, so there we go.
All right, so let's talk about draft strategy real quick. Now, me and Teresa, we did a draft on Thursday night, and I don't know if you'll believe this, but the top 2 picks in the league were quarterbacks. So first guy was on an auto draft, but he obviously pre-ranked his players, and he had Aaron Rodgers number 1. So he picked Aaron Rodgers. Teresa had picked number 2, and she picked maybe out of desperation or confusion, Andrew Luck. And so that left the top 3 running backs there for 3, 4. Of course, picks 3, 4, and 5 gobbled up very quickly. Now, everybody looks at like fantasy, from a bird's eye view, you look at fantasy and you're like, oh, yeah, well, that makes sense. Aaron Rodgers was projected for the most points this league. And Andrew Luck was projected for the second most points this league. Why wouldn't you pick him? Well, that's the whole reason why is that, Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck, they're projected, at least for ESPN's scoring in that league, 418 and 414 for the season total. Yeah. 4 points separated them. That means you're getting a quarter of a point differential between those two. Now, I drafted Phillip Rivers in the 11th round, and he was projected for 318, exactly 100 points below what Aaron Rodgers was projected to get, which comes out to be about 6 points a game over a 16-game schedule, roughly 16 or 6, and some decimals.
Yeah.
So basically,
you and your math skills.
Between her first round pick and my 11th round pick is 6 points per game.
Yeah.
That is why you don't pick quarterbacks the first round, because the differential is not enough to make it up.
Yes, and it's about value. That's why.
Exactly.
For what you're saying, it's totally right. So if you want to take Aaron Rodgers first, you want to take Andrew Luck second, I don't have a big problem with that. If you like the players, if they're going quick, that's fine. But you have to look at it as a value pick. It's what is more valuable. There's not as many things like, running backs are hard to find really good ones. Yeah, there's a lot of them, but those elite ones, you want to pick them up.
Week in and week out.
Yeah, what is more valuable to you? Is it the running back who is pretty consistent, who gets you a bunch of points, and you need to play 2 of them in your league, 2 to 3 if it's wide receivers? Quarterbacks, there's only one. I mean, as you were saying, you got Phillip Rivers, who is probably, I'd say, right around 10th, 11th, 12th best quarterback, something like that. And I don't even like Phillip Rivers that much. But
I know you don't.
It's about the value of it. It's his value is still pretty good, and you would be able to get so much more value out of some of those other running backs, wide receivers that are taken first. The one thing I have to say, though, is let's jump in quick when we're talking about value. When it comes to tight end, especially this year, in our last draft that we did, Honey took Gronkowski very early, I think with the 4th pick or so. I told her I had no problem with that because it is very much Gronk and then everybody else. It's you. If you take Gronk, you are good on tight end, and he is an asset to you. Everybody else, including Jimmy Graham, he is. You don't know how they're going to be. They're all pretty much the same. You could grab 2 of whatever and play the matchups and all that kind of stuff. If you want to take Gronk, if you want to go that route, which I did last year with Jimmy Graham, I got no problem with that at all because it's that value pick that's there. So the running back.
That's why, like, my other league on Thursday, my first pick was Jamal Charles, and my second pick was Rob Gronkowski. Like, I could have picked another running back. I could have picked a pretty decent receiver, but I picked Gronkowski because, like you said, he's leaps and bounds above, all right, Graham's probably going to put up decent numbers, but in Seattle's offense, he's going to be very shaky. He's not going to be, 18, 18 points through whole year through. Granted, Gronkowski's going to have Garoppolo thrown to him for the first 4 weeks, but either way, like, I think Gronkowski is going to perform. Graham, he can have that hit or miss. Like, he's more of a roller coaster. He's up and down and up and down. He may have these really big games where he just, saves your week, or he'll have really shitty games where he just tanks it. And that's what I don't like about him. So that's why I think Gronkowski is such more valuable than, Graham or any other tight end is. And that's why he's worth a 1st or 2nd round pick.
Yep, I completely agree with all of that. So that's when it comes to the strategy-wise. That's what we started this conversation about. Oh, excuse me. There is definitely strategy. You've got to be thinking the whole time. And it's actually very difficult, let me just say, to really think about the draft when, A, you're drinking, B, you've got 2 children running around the room, 3, you actually have to stand up and take care of those children. So a lot of times you would see me. So you weren't here to see me during that draft, but I had my computer was up high so that nobody could touch it. And I was like kind of running around. It's like, when's my turn? When's my turn? And I would get on there and I'd be like, holy crap, who the hell am I going to take? Who's available? What's going on here? So it was definitely a crazy draft. I can just say that I kind of missed those drafts where I was just sitting down, drinking, and doing nothing else but chatting the whole time.
I would say that Kim and Tracy effectively sabotaged you then.
I'm not going to say that out loud.
I'll say it. They're not here.
I know. They're upstairs.
I ain't scared.
They ain't here. I ain't scared. This is America.
America. All right. So anyways, that's
draft strategy. What about when you get later on in the draft? Let's talk about, because this is what I find to be difficult sometimes. There's lots of different ways to do it. When you get a little bit later, you're in about round 7, round 8, you pick kind of your high-end players. You're looking for those medium to low-end players. Are you looking for like the veterans who you kind of know will be doing better, or are you looking for maybe that rookie that would stand out? The ones that have like maybe the higher ceilings but the lower floors, or do you go for the veterans who you kind of know what you're going to get with?
Well, hopefully at this point you're looking for your first quarterback, because otherwise you're probably screwed. But I would say, you need to mix it up a little bit. You need to go with a little bit of high potential, high risk people. For example, I think I took like Trey Mason, like the 9th or 10th round in our draft. Very high potential, can do great. Or, what's his name? They came in from Georgia, Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
Who I think I also drafted as well. Yeah, I did. Or he could steal the show. You never know. Like, it's tough to say. So I'd say mix it up with high potential, high reward, or, consistent, moderate production. Like, for example, maybe a Roddy White at this point his career.
Yeah.
Somebody that's going to get you, 5 catches, 65 yards, touchdown every other week, that type of deal.
Did I tell you, I faced that exact decision this time, and I don't remember what round it was, but the 2 players I was thinking of were either Marquise Colston or one of the new wide receivers over at Philadelphia, one of the new young guys. I forgot his name now.
I assume not Jordan Matthews.
Maybe, yeah. Anyway, so I had those. And it was that exact decision. It's like, do I go with Colston, who has basically been my fantasy freaking kryptonite this whole time? I have taken Colston, I think, maybe even in this league about every year since I started playing. And he never does that well for me. So that was my choice. It was Colston or it was this young rookie. And I was like, I'm going to go with the young rookie this time. He's got that higher ceiling, even though he may have a lower floor than Colston. Because Colston, he's going to give you what he's going to give you.
Right.
He's going to probably get, 8 to 10 touchdowns with maybe 800 to 1,000 yards. And that's about it. Because I actually took a couple of New Orleans players in this draft, because if you look at not Gronkowski, what's his face? Jimmy Graham had hundreds of targets last year, and all of those targets are going to go to somebody else. They're not going to stop throwing the ball. So no. I think I ended up picking up Brandon Cooks pretty late, and I grabbed the back. Yeah, so it's like I grabbed those because those targets are going to go somewhere, and I think that Brandon Cooks could be one of those players that really benefits.
Yeah, one thing you can be sure of is that Drew Brees will throw the ball. So if he's not throwing it to Jimmy Graham, I think Brandon Cooks is a damn good bet. And if you picked him up in one of the later rounds, then that is a hell of a pickup for you.
Yeah, as I say, very happy with my running backs and wide receivers. Not so happy with my quarterback and tight end.
All right, so with that being said, we're about 24 minutes into the show. So let's go ahead and actually move into real football. Now, you and I, admittedly, we've both not been paying as much attention to, the NFL as we should be as far as transactions, injuries, whatnot. But just going real quick through the divisions and teams, what are you thinking for playoffs, division winners? What are you thinking for the season?
Wow, that is a very open-ended question, but that's okay. What am I thinking for the season? I am definitely thinking that Sundays are going to be freaking awesome at my house. I mean, I'm going to be having, Madeline's at the age where, she's kind of playing around a little bit. She's having a good time. I'm able to have a game on the TV, and she's not, sitting there like zombie-eyed at the TV, which is kind of what I was going for. That's what I was hoping that would happen. So I am super excited about that. I got the NFL Red Zone, which of course I love. Man, I've been bottling a bunch of my own brews. It's going to be so freaking amazing. But if you're asking me about specific teams, I am super scared about my 49ers. I think that they're going to have a huge down year. This is going to there's just been so much turnover, and some of it was necessary.
Tom Sula?
I have no trust in Jim Tomsula. My problem is that not all of it was, Harbaugh was the Niners making, but so many others were injuries and retirements and wanting to be traded away and all this kind of crap. It was just let's frickin' Sonic on top of the Niners this year, and it was so upsetting. So that's gonna be rough. However, on the other side, if you look on the other side of the bay, if you look at my Raiders, man, they actually have some stuff that you really could be hopeful on. Are they going to make the playoffs? Of course they're not going to make the playoffs. They're the freaking Raiders. But could they here's my
Sonic on somebody's cereal this year.
Here's my goal, is that when they bring out, how they have those early projections of playoff teams, it's like in week 8 or something like that. They're like, oh, here's the teams that still have a chance or something like that. I want the Raiders to at least be on the bottom of that list. You don't, if they week 8 or something like that, if they are still just in the running, I know they're not going to make it. And I know that they're going to have a rough
eliminated yet.
Exactly. But if they're at least there, it's like, oh, and if the Raiders happen to win out the rest of their games, they could make it. It's like, oh, I would love to see that.
If the Raiders win 6 of 8 during the last 8 weeks, they could make the playoffs.
They're 4-4 right now. They still have a chance. If they just win out, it's like, oh, that would be freaking awesome. So when I'm looking at, so many times you have basically the same sort of teams in the playoffs. The Patriots are going to be there. The Steelers, the Ravens are going to be there. The Giants will probably be there. I'm trying to think of those other perennial playoff teams. Denver will probably be there. Seattle will probably be there. You look at all of those. So if you look at teams that aren't one of those perennial teams that I think are going to show up, I think that this is the year that another team in the AFC East is going to make the playoffs. I don't know who it's going to be. I think it could be either Miami or Buffalo, but I think that one of these
figures out its quarterback situation.
What was that?
I said if Buffalo figures out its quarterback situation.
Yes, they would have to do that. So that was going to be a tough one. But I think that, of course, Patriots are going to win the division, walking away. No worries about that. But I think that
Tom Brady.
Even without Tom Brady, he's an American hero.
America.
I think that one of those teams, probably in Miami, is going to at least make the playoffs or be right there in it. So long everyone else in that division has sucked balls. I think now they're at least going to start getting a little bit of competition in there.
See, I want to agree with you, except I just don't believe in Ryan Tannehill. He's not my Harvey Dent. I can't believe in him.
He's not your Harvey Dent?
No, he's not. He hasn't done anything particularly insulting in the NFL, where you're just look at him and be like, what a goddamn idiot. But he also hasn't inspired all that confidence either. He's had competent receivers. He had Mike Wallace, did nothing with him. Devon Best, really didn't do much with him. Brian Hartline's pretty good receiver, didn't do anything with him. It's what do we have to give you to make you seem like you can actually throw the football to people?
Makes sense. Oh, Colts, another one that are one of those perennial teams. So if you look at those perennial teams, Ridley, who do you think is going to, taking those perennial teams out, who do you think is going to make it into the playoffs? My thought was
Giants into the perennial team, so I don't really know if I trust your list of perennial. But we just spilled Teresa's shot, which for that we apologize. And we just spilled my pouring anyway. All right, so anyways, non-perennial teams that I think can make the playoffs, I think it's Arizona. I think Arizona has a very strong shot at making the playoffs, especially with San Francisco just completely shitting the bed this offseason and basically Jed York giving a big old middle finger to his entire fan base and everybody in the NFL. I think they will be awful this year. So I think Arizona is going to be in the playoffs. And, I wouldn't be surprised. I would, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams gave it a shot at the playoffs. Now, I know they're in probably one of the tougher divisions, obviously, with Seattle, Arizona. Like I said, you're a shitty San Francisco team. But it wouldn't shock me to see both wild cards come out of the NFC West.
No, I don't. I don't think it would shock me either. It happens often in the AFC with the North, with the Pittsburgh,
Steelers and Ravens,
Baltimore, Cincinnati
right?
area. It happens often there, and I completely agree with you. I wouldn't be surprised there. I don't think it'll be the Niners, but that's okay.
If Foles catches fire in St. Louis and Jeff Fisher all of a sudden looks like a genius, you never know what can happen. I mean,
So here's my thing. I don't think Jeff Fisher is a genius. I mean, he's a genius because he has been a head coach for 16 plus years, and he's made the playoffs in that time frame about twice. So somehow he is good enough that he is keeping his job, but he is not good enough that he is really excelling in that amount of time.
oh, I completely agree with you about being a genius of marketing your mediocrity.
We try to do the same thing with the show, basically. We are attempting to market.
Apparently, we don't have the genius.
Exactly. That's the one thing we're missing. We're both just drunken assholes.
Yeah, can we hire Jeff Fisher for the show?
Oh,
Can we please hire Jeff Fisher?
can we hire Jeff Fisher? I think we should. I think that would be great. Let's go over. I do have a few questions that I wanted to get in with you. Getting back over to the AFC East, who do you think? So Ryan Fitzpatrick right now is going to be is one of the Jets quarterbacks. They've got a few other people on the list. Who do you think wins that job out? Or am I going to have to remind you who's on their roster? Because I might have to remind myself.
It's got to be Fitzpatrick until Geno Smith comes back. I think it's his job once they do come back, unless Fitzpatrick is 4-0 with 15 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He's obviously going to be replaced. And even then, he's probably still going to be replaced because everybody knows that it's Ryan Fitzpatrick and he'll come back down to earth.
Who do you think will win out in Buffalo? There's the two guys there. There's the young guy, and then there's Matt Castle. And EJ Manuel is actually starting too. So there's
the guy out of Virginia Tech. What the fuck is his name?
Tyrod. His last name starts with a T.
Tyrod Smith or Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor.
Yep, there you go. Together we have one good.
They went with Tyrod Taylor. He's what they were hoping they would get in EJ Manuel.
Which is sad because EJ Manuel is still there.
Yeah, I know. He's mobile. He's got a good arm. He's got a pretty strong arm, and he's not EJ Manuel. Got that going for him. Now, Matt Castle, what he's got going for him is New England in 2009. After that, the list stops. So I would think they've got to go with Tyrod Taylor just because, Tyrod Taylor, you're going to have, these hills and valleys, whereas Matt Castle, you're just going to have this low plateau. It's you want to go with the ups and downs, but still have a nice, decent median, or do you want to just go with shitty production the whole way through?
Honestly, if you're like this show, we just want to go with shitty production. I mean, honestly.
Well, that pretty much, that's a given. But I think that they would go with the Colin Cowherd and go with the ups and downs. Oh, hey, dig it, boy.
Hold on. Once again, I get this time out. So I went out to dinner with Madeline last night, and Colin Cowherd was on one of the local radio shows here, late at between 6 and 5 and 6 or whatever. One of those local ones he was on, and it was really cool to listen to him for a little bit. Okay, time back in.
His Bill Romanowski protein.
So yes, Bill Romanowski's protein. Darren McFadden versus Ruben Randall. Who do you think is going to win out that job there in Dallas on your
Joseph Randall.
Dallas Cowboys?
Joseph Randall.
Joseph Randall.
And Joseph Randall's won the job. It's his to lose. But he's only a little minor theft losing that job anyway. So I'm not. Joseph Randall's a competent, like, second back. You know, he's good for a change of pace, but he's not a workhorse back. Then again, McFadden isn't either. So my guess is you're going to see 3 backs on the Cowboys finish with 140 touches apiece.
So if we were to look back at fantasy-wise, you really wouldn't want to take any of the Dallas running backs just because it's going to be such a committee there.
It's going to be a week-by-week deal, and I would not trust either of them, any of them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's going to be riding the hot hand. It's running back by committee, and it's not something you can trust fantasy-wise.
No, I think you are mostly right. What other big stories do we have going on? I'm kind of scrolling through, seeing what's there. Mariota or Winston, what have you seen in the preseason that you like?
You know, both of them have shown decent flashes. Winston, you know, he's got the brass buns. He's got the brass buns that you look for as far as, I believe I can do this. This is, you know, I've got this. Don't worry about it. He's going to throw a lot of picks. Definitely is going to throw a lot of picks. But he's going to be brash enough to show that he belongs in the NFL. Mariota, I think Mariota's got it in him. He needs to buck up a little bit, maybe.
Fuck up, sailor.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to maybe drop trowel every now and then just to show his manhood. And
honestly, that's what I do all the time.
Yeah, it probably doesn't work.
Scared because that's what I do at work. So
yeah. But you do that in the women's locker room, so it's really against unfair competition.
Well, it's true, but honestly, if you know I'm going to be there, then stop going into the ladies' room. Seriously, come on. It gets to a certain point where I do it so much, it's kind of your fault if you're going to go pee.
I agree with you there.
Mm-hmm.
But Mariota, I think Mariota can be decent, but honestly, I kind of think of him as Chad Pennington. Don't ask me why, but I think like that's his best situation is Chad Pennington. I'm sure he's obviously more athletic than Pennington. Probably has a better arm, but my guess is his cap, his career ceiling is Chad Pennington.
Interesting that you. I mean, Chad Pennington
spaghetti at a wall, so don't ask me why.
Chad Pennington did make it to the playoffs a few times with the Jets.
So our draft grades from this draft that we completed right before the show just came out. And you want to guess who got the best draft?
Let me ask you.
No.
Who?
This little female sitting right next to me.
Hey, there you go. Way to go, the Risa. That's awesome.
She had to rub it into my face. That's what he said.
I got a B- on mine. Holy cow.
Oh, I got a B, so suck it.
Well, I got a B too, but why did it says that I'm the winner?
Wait, so she got a B, I got a B, so therefore I am practically the best.
The best draft.
We all got B's. Nobody did well.
You said you got a B-.
Well, yeah, I know. I got a B-. Macy got a C, and then Tracy got a C-.
So what you're telling me is me and Teresa are the best, and the rest of you suck balls. Oh, my God, there's a lot of B's.
Yeah, I was going to say, everybody's a B.
But it says it has the most projected season points.
Wow. Well, Kim got a B too. Fucking Merrick
Yeah.
got a B on goddamn auto draft. All right, we're done talking about this. I can't do it anymore. So all right, so Matthew, let's move into
Nonsense.
Would you rather?
Oh, thank God. Let's move into Would You Rather. I'm sure Honey doesn't want me to come upstairs for a Would You Rather.
And just flip side to side.
Oh, yeah, just take photos.
All right, so Matthew, we've got 8 or 9 would you rather's. So
Yes. I love the Would You Rather segment. It is, I have to say, it is one of the best things I think we've ever come up with.
And in case you are new to the show or just checking it out, you can either chat with us on Google's YouTube, which we are using. You can tweet us at Hour of Power Show at Twitter or whatever.
At twitter.com.
Yeah, at Twitter. You can email us at hourofpowershow@gmail.com, or you can Facebook us at the Hour of Power Radio Show. With that being said, let's go ahead and move into Would You Rather. All right, Matthew.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Number
Would you
one.
rather walk in on your 15-year-old daughter going down on a guy, Madeline, just, hobnobbing, or would you rather walk in on a guy going down on her? I'm so glad that we asked this since I do not have a daughter and you do.
I no longer want to answer questions like this about my daughter. I'm not gonna lie. I no longer appreciate this type of subject. Yeah, wow, that's tough. And if Kim were here, she would so hit me for even trying to answer this question. But I'm going to because, I have to.
Please.
It's the rules. It's the rules. Okay.
Hold on, wait a second. Can anybody see Cooper behind me?
Oh, yeah, I can see Cooper.
He is pretty much like perched up on the goddamn couch. Just ready
Right
to...
to the head of a dick of a dog.
All right, anyways, continue on.
Okay, so here, I'm not going to go into much detail. Let me just say that right now.
All right,
I'm
Burn.
not going to do details. I would much rather the first one because I would much prefer to see her in the position of power.
See, you and me, we obviously disagree about the position of power because as a guy, I feel like if I'm having something done to me versus me doing something to somebody else, I feel when something is done to me, I am in the power or position of power because I am doing nothing.
Wait, isn't that the first one?
No, the first one was the daughter is going down on the guy.
Oh, then yes. Sorry. Then yeah, the second one.
Oh, you would much rather have somebody going down on the daughter.
Yes.
We'll leave the daughter nameless for this
Thank you.
thing. So, all right. Well, in that
Position
case,
of power. That is what I'm thinking. I would much more appreciate that.
all right. Well, in that case, you much diminish the power of the tongue.
What?
Think about it. Women will march to their own accord for much of their lives. Like you cannot convince them of anything or nothing.
Yeah, it's true.
Nothing Lebowski.
I've been married far too long. I know that.
Except there's this rare moment where they show weakness. And that one moment is when your tongue is doing the literal unspeakable.
That's true.
And
And it's
they just don't know
unspeakable
what to
because
do.
it's hard
They
to talk about.
succumb. Pardon the phrase. And they're at a moment of weakness. Sheer weakness, and they don't know what to do. And that is why you can never let your daughter be in that position.
All right. There you go. Let's move on.
Yes, please. Let's do.
You just be saying why you'd rather have your daughter walking than a girl doing it.
No, it's why would you rather walk in on a guy doing that on your daughter?
No, that's what Matthew chose.
I know, and I was choosing the opposite. And why is it not switching?
It's an
All right.
iPhone. That's why. iPhone sucks.
All right. Hey, next one. Would you rather be
Yeah.
stuck in a traffic jam with diarrhea,
Yeah.
yobogoya, or would you rather eat one ghost chili but have the diarrhea at home?
Wait, you'd have to eat chili and then have diarrhea at home?
A ghost chili, like one of the hottest peppers known to man,
Yes, ghost chili. Got it.
but have to have the diarrhea at home.
I would I'm gonna make this one easy on you because there is only one right answer to this one. The only right answer is to have the diarrhea in the car. Basically, you can clean seats and it's just diarrhea. And if you're commuting, whatever, roll the windows down, you're gonna be fine. It's just a bunch of shit all over your car. And honestly, if I'm going home and if I'm gonna have some diarrhea, I'm probably just gonna be taking my pants off and riding home pantsless anyways. So it's actually kind of nice. I prefer to drive pantsless. I don't get to do it as often as I would like, but man, when you're on like that long car ride, that 7 hours from Portland to Boise, it's the best thing is once everyone falls asleep in the car, you can just take those pants off and drive the rest of the way just pantsless. So I think that's awesome. So if you have to have a little bit of diarrhea, I got my pants there to sop up all that mess. I can throw things out the window. I've got cups. I got all this kind of stuff. I am good to go when it comes to diarrhea in the car. I'm gonna let that go because honestly, ghost chilies, those hot chilies, damn, that sounds crazy. And I'm a huge fan of hot food. I like hot food, but holy crap, that would be way too much.
You are obviously mistaken because, first off, in your own bathroom, nobody can hear you squeal. I don't know if you knew this, but that's like the first law of your own bathroom.
Well, it
Second
depends
off-
on how your vents are set up. Because technically, in our house, the bathrooms are right on top of each other, and the vents right there, and you could pretty much hear.
Semantic, erroneous on all scales. Either way, even if somebody can hear you squeal, you're in the privacy of your own bathroom. So, say that you have some messy turd goblin, and you end up just proliferating all over your ass cheeks. Just it goes everywhere. It spews like it's spitting out pudding on the 4th of July. That's pretty tough to wipe up. You never know if you get all the spots right. You're like, wait a second, did I? Nope, I missed a new spot. All of a sudden, you have a stain on your ass. You never know. So that's why it's nice to be that close to your own shower, because at some point you just gotta say, you know what, I'm done. I'm tired of screwing with it. I'm just gonna wash it off. And so you move into your shower, and you just let the water do its work. You just soap up. You're good to go. All done. Sure, you may have to have the taste of ghost chilies in your mouth for a little bit, but that comes with the comfort of knowing that, hey, you got to shit in your own toilet. Your ass is completely clean thanks to the shower that you have right next to it. And, you didn't completely destroy your car and ruin it for Carfax.
There are so many worse cars on Carfax. I mean, and who cares? You can get dead body smell out of cars. I mean, just ask any spy. You'd figure it out.
Just go ahead and admit that I'm right. All right, let's move into the next one.
Yeah, what's the next one? Thank you.
Would you rather never drink a beer again or never drink coffee again?
Holy crap. Really? Wow, I would never drink coffee again for
15 times
anything.
over.
I know. It's like, this one is, This one is amazing. So beer is amazing. Beer is great. Coffee is it can be good at times, but I mean, really, when you think about it, coffee is just, some coffee bean that's ground up, that's got some caffeine in it that maybe helps wake you up, maybe not. A lot of it, it's something that you get addicted to. Beer, you don't get addicted to beer. Well,
No, never addicted to beer.
never. And it's not harmful at all. Coffee also can stain your teeth. Beer can't stain your teeth. And I am a huge oral hygiene fan. Like, if you were to rank the things I'm a fan of, oral hygiene, boom, right near the top of that list. And if I drink too much coffee, that's all gone out the window. So I would never give up beer. I love beer. I am trying to find a way to grow enough things in my backyard so that if there is an apocalypse, I can still make beer. Like, I'm growing the hops. If I can just grow a few grains, I am just golden.
Need to have those Citra hops.
I would love to grow some Citra hops, but you can't find them. They're proprietary.
Well, what
and
the
so
fuck?
you can't. I know you can't buy a rhizome of a Citra hop.
Communist bastards. So that's yet another reason why you should give up beer and drink coffee. You want to know why? Why
I
else?
would love to know why.
Well, besides all the bullshit reasons that you listed.
Yeah.
One,
Dental hygiene.
well, think about all that coffee does for your productivity. Matthew,
Yeah.
you and I, we both have a decent amount asked of us at our work. I know
Sure.
I would struggle at completing that without coffee. Without beer, I'd be great. Without coffee, not so much. Now, is beer something I buy with the productivity I produce at work? Absolutely. But it is not a causation of the productivity. It is a nice benefit of. So if I don't have coffee, I don't have production, therefore I don't have beer. Two, I don't even need a two. That's the biggest reason there is. Think about it. Well, all right. Okay. All right. Here's another one. Thank you to my lovely wife.
She is lovely.
Say you don't have beer. You don't have coffee. Well, you stay up one night. You drink some whiskey. You're hanging out with fucking what's his name?
Sonic?
Willie Nelson. Drink some whiskey. Maybe smoking some dope. I don't know. I don't know what you're into. I don't know what's in these days. And so anyways, you're drinking some whiskey, just having fun, but you wake up the next morning and you're just aghast. I don't even know how to describe it. You're just don't even want to wake up. You're part of the dead. Yet you have to go to work. What's going to get you there? Beer? Coffee? Maybe. So even if you don't have coffee or beer, you still have coffee to help spring you into your step and get you to work so you don't get fired, so you can still buy beer at the end of the day. Therefore, you're not asking for people for change on the side of the road for some goddamn beer so you can just get your fix on for one night at a time.
Have you never heard of Hair of the Dog? I mean, if you do have a big night, Hair of the Dog, that thing's barking right there. If you have a long night, if you are out with Willie Nelson, having a bunch of whiskey, man, a nice beer in the morning, it could be just the thing you're looking for.
It could be, but it's not always legal, especially for those of us that get drug tested at work.
See,
God
that's
damn
the problem. How often do you get drug tested at work?
Once every 6 months, maybe once every 3 months if random.
I think that may just be you.
Yeah, probably. All right, moving on.
Moving on. Okay, wait. We're gonna have to work this out because I have to go and grab a new beer.
All right.
So,
Well, I'm gonna read this to you, and then I will allow you to think about it while you're grabbing a new beer.
all right, and then while I'm going to grab a beer, why don't you discuss the fact that Duran Duran is neither a Duran nor a Duran.
Well, I was going to talk about how it is to be hungry like the wolf, but
Hungry like the wolf. All right, go ahead. I'll
all right.
think.
Would you rather
What I
have sex with one sheep one time and no one would ever know, or not have sex with a sheep but have everyone think you did?
It's a very good question. I will ponder that as I go and refill this glass.
Yes, you will. Rookaroo. Hi, buddy. I'm so confused.
You're scary, Dad, when you get into your. Is he just sipping his beer?
Got you? You must be. Right. Drunker than he is, Root.
I just went back and had a glass of beer.
But I would imagine that since we drank for pretty much the previous 6 hours beforehand, 6.5.
He doesn't understand, Daddy. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Okay, hair.
Look at it. It's a big one. I pulled
Yeah.
it off of his chin.
You put one of his ingrown hairs.
What?
It's an ingrown one.
No, it's not. It wasn't an ingrown hair.
Yeah, because he doesn't have hairs that long.
Yes, he did.
No, he doesn't.
Well, that's why I pulled it, because it was one coming literally off right here.
That's because it's ingrown.
No, it was hanging out that long.
No, he doesn't have any hairs on his body that long.
It was sticking out right here. It's a whisker.
No, it's an ingrown hair.
No, because it's the same. Okay, these whiskers, you see them? They're longer. There's a whisker off one of his moles.
There's an ingrown hair.
How do you know it's ingrown here?
Because it's ingrown on a spot of a whisker.
Okay, I am back.
All right.
And I say
Cooper
that
is mounting Teresa.
Kim decided as my second beer to get me a porter, so this should be an awesome rest of the show.
Hooray, Porters.
All right. Let's read the question again.
All right. Once Teresa opens it, would you rather have sex with a sheep and no one knows, or would you one time, or would you rather not have sex but have everyone think that you did with a sheep?
Got it. Okay. So this one's easy. I don't know how you could even make a case for the other way around. So it's very easy that I would much prefer to actually have the sex with the sheep. So did you know that condoms used to be made out of sheep intestines or something like that? Some part of a sheep. And so basically, if you were in the olden days, you were already mostly having sex with a sheep anyways. So what's the problem with grabbing a nice sheep? It's soft. I mean, have you ever like held a blanket to your face and kind of rubbed it? It'd be kind of like that, but you'd be having sex with it at the same time, which not to say I haven't done, but yeah, it's, it's soft, it's fluffy. There's nothing wrong with sex with the sheep. And and that's kind of funny because Tracy was rocking by as I was saying that, so that made me laugh a little bit. It's soft. It would be like having sex with a moving pillow. And how is that wrong? How is that wrong?
I don't think their vaginas are laced in fur.
Well, A, they should be. B, I'm not saying that the vagina is laced with fur. I would be saying that, you'd be leaning over. You could be resting.
What are you having sex with here?
You could be resting your head on the sheep's backside while you're having sex with it. And it is soft and it is fluffy.
Okay,
So-
I'm glad your head's in a good place because your other head is
Inside of a sheep. Yeah, you'd have to get past that. But really, what's the problem with that? What is the problem with that? It is a female sheep, and you just happen to be having sex with it.
I will tell you the problem with that. One, that's pretty much the same excuse that pedophiles give when they have sex with a child. Is that, don't worry about it. It all feels the same. It feels very nice. You don't think about it if it all feels the same, right? Right? No? That's what pedophiles say. And one, like, nobody may know you've had sex with a sheep, but and that's something you can never get over. You're just sitting there drinking one beer one night, friends talking about, did you see that rodeo? Yeah, I saw that rodeo. Oh shit, I had sex with a sheep. You never know when this Tourette's is going to pop up. All of a sudden, you're involuntarily speaking about how you one time fornicated with a goddamn lamb chop.
It brings a whole new meaning to the term mutton busting.
Yes. And so, even though you don't know, like, how you're going to feel,
but
it's going to come up
else would have thought that you had sex with a sheep. At least if you actually have sex with the sheep, you would have a good little life story to remember when you reach the pearly gates. Where, if not, you just are known as the sheep fucker. So you would.
You know what? I'm okay with it because a lot of people think I'm an asshole. And wait a second.
Well, I was gonna say, but that's true.
Wait, no. You're right. That was completely wrong. Either way, some people think I'm nice. Maybe.
Exactly, and those people are gonna realize that they got it completely wrong later on in life.
And that's okay with me. See? Again, you're proving my point. All right, next one.
Got it.
Would you rather never eat cheese again? Let's not talk to Edward about this.
Yeah,
Or
definitely not.
would you rather never watch porn again? Debate. I like how cheese and porn are on the same equivalent here.
I know. That's kind of an interesting combination there.
Yeah. This
all right.
definitely came from a Wisconsinite.
Obviously. Okay. Cheese. Porn. This is a very good question. I am very easy. I mean, it's a good question, but it does definitely have an easy answer. I mean, that's the big thing is you would think that it would be difficult. You'd think that you'd go either way, but it really is an easy answer. But I think I've gone first the last couple of times. Do you want to go first this time?
I'm pretty sure you've gone first every time, but it's neither here nor there.
Okay, sounds good. Then I'll go first again because, we want to keep the streak going. All right. Cheese or porn? It's obviously you would give up porn to have cheese. I would prefer to have cheese over porn because here's what it is. I know that you are much younger than I am. And by much younger, I mean at least 10 years or so. And
roughly here or there. You get to a point where when it comes to the things that are on TV and your imagination, all that kind of stuff, you really don't need the porn anymore. You have experienced enough in your life that you're able to look back and really think about interesting things. Basically, if you think about your mind as a vault filled with a spank bank, you get that vault pretty full. It takes you a while to go through all the different things that are in there. Think about your filing cabinet. If you were to look at every single piece of paper in your filing cabinet, it would take you a while to get through because you're getting up there. You've got stuff. You've got mortgage payments. You've got, dental records. You got all this kind of crap that's lining up in your file cabinet. It takes you a while to get through it all. It's the same way with your spank bank. You open it up. You're like, oh, hey, I'll use this one this time. Or how about this guy? Or this guy kind of leads to this guy, which leads to this guy. So I got 3 different things all chained together. So what you're telling me is your spank bank leads to a bunch of different guys.
I'm not going to say that out loud.
I think you already did.
Damn it. It was that one time. The girls never came. The girls never came.
Literally.
All right, Matthew.
I can hear
Let
you
me
too.
tell you for one reason why you're wrong, besides your homoerotic fantasies. What was the question?
But can I also just mention though quickly that cheese is amazing. Cheese is dairy. Cheese is awesome. I feel so sorry for those of whom of us are lactose intolerant. It is terrible. It is a terrible thing for them. Cheese is awesome.
Cheese is awesome. I completely agree with you. However, you forget about the power of the porn, which obviously you were alluding to with your this guy and this guy and that guy and whose guy and what guy and all of them jerking off apparently. But apparently, like, I think you forget about how powerful your imagination is, Matthew, which I don't think is that powerful. One, you're not that creative. And two, you forgot about Rodney Carrington's old, advice. Once you've seen one pair of breasts, you want to see them all.
It's true.
And so, you can be fine sitting there thinking about a good old wheel of cheddar cheese, but it's not going to be good as seeing, a nice pair of fertile greens from somebody's garden.
All right.
What's Kim saying?
She yelled that she could hear me at one point, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, I'm worried about getting kicked in the back of the head, so I'm not going to speak any further.
And I think that's probably a good idea. Why don't you keep talking about what it's like to think about all those different boobs that you're trying to look for?
Greens, Matthew. And since I
it
don't want to be
it sounded like you weren't satisfied seeing one pair of boobs and you needed to see every pair of boobs. So why don't we continue to discuss this for a while?
Yes, please. Once you see one pair, you want to see them all. All right, Matthew, next would you rather, and the last would you rather.
Oh my God, it's the last one already. Okay, you go first this time.
All right. Would you rather engage in 10 instances of street prostitution, but no one would ever know, or would you rather perform in a porn scene that will exist on the internet forever? All right. So this one's easy. And I'm so glad that you allowed me to go first on this one.
Yeah.
Because this is obvious that I would rather engage in 10 instances of, what does it say? Street prostitution that no one will ever know about, because it never says that it has to be homoerotic. So I would much rather engage in fellatio that involved, 10 other women than rather have my dong posted about the internet to live in infamy forever. I don't even know how I have to make a better argument than that. It's just
that's fine. That's fine that you think that, and I'm really glad that you went that way. That makes it so much easier for me knowing that you are so completely wrong. I mean, number one, I think that one of the things wrong with this world is more people have not seen my penis. And I think that more people should, which is why it's definitely
better question, Matthew. Can more people actually see your penis?
Well, it depends on the distance away from me you are. It
depends on the magnifying glass they hold in their hand.
Yeah. Do you have binoculars? Do you not? It's really kind of up in the air a little bit. So, but they all deserve it. They all deserve it. But
they all deserve the penis.
Exactly. But here's the thing about being in porn is most of the girls there are tested, or guys, Everybody's tested. So yeah, and you get paid. So it's like not only, in your situation where you're doing 10 times off the street, A, you do get paid, so that's good.
So do you
B,
do it in prostitution?
but get syphilis. C, you could get shot in the head, not like bang bang, but not actually either one.
Bang Bang wants to hang.
Exactly. There's a lot of different difficult things that could happen to you if you were to just be on the street and have sex with some random person. So if you're in porn, they're tested. You know that you're going to be out there and that everyone is going to get the pleasure of seeing your penis. And yeah, you might have to wait, you walked in at a great time. And so really, what was that? Yeah, and they're all clean. So yeah, you might have to have sex with a guy here and there, but at least it's going to be a clean guy.
Well, that sounds completely homoerotic.
Hey, it's not homoerotic. It's just openness, man. It's the new way of thinking.
Man, you're thinking of things completely wrong. There's nothing gay about this line right here. I completely screwed up that line from Jay and Silent Bob, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, on this side of the line, we're not gay.
We ain't gay.
We ain't gay.
All right, Matthew. So anyways, that concludes our Would You Rather, and I'm so glad that you took it upon yourself to be completely wrong in all sorts of factions in that. So I hope you enjoy your life of sodomy and infidelity.
I hope you enjoy your life of not shitting in your car.
I shall. So anyways, let's move on to, actually, we're pretty damn far through the show. So do you have anything you want to talk about before we leave?
Oh, so many things, but if we have to, we have to go. Did we actually
don't have to go? Go ahead and go.
I was gonna say, do we actually have any listeners, or was it just us?
We had one earlier, but we do not anymore.
So we weren't able to entertain the one person that tuned in.
No, unfortunately not.
At least I think we've mostly entertained Larissa, so that's good. And Kim has been sufficiently scared about most of the things I've said.
Excellent. Well, I found a Bieber of the Week if we want to go over that real quick.
Of course, always.
And this one sounds particularly appetizing.
Oh.
I think. Because a mother and daughter spent $86,000 on plastic surgery to look like a celeb. Idol. Oh, I thought they said LOL, which would have been even better. Anyways, over the last 3 years, this mother-daughter combo spent over $86,000 to look like a British model and reality star. Really? Anyways, Georgina, God forbid you ever name your daughter that, Clark, 38, and her daughter Kayla Morris open up in a new video from News Dog Media about what they say is their love of plastic surgery. In the video, I drink.
Yeah.
Clark explains that she and her daughter started watching TV personality and model Katie Price years ago, and both thought she had the whole package.
Yeah.
Price, a household name in the UK, is famous for, among other things, having had a number of breast enhancement surgeries. When I was 11 and watching Katie Price, I knew I wanted a boob job and wanted to look like her, Morris says in the video. I wanted to look like her. Okay.
So if you could have plastic surgery to look like any celebrity, who would it be? Caitlyn Jenner.
Well, besides Caitlyn, obviously. I mean,
Obviously, that's your first guess.
you gotta say it's Brad Pitt, right?
You would think so. You would think that Brad Pitt would be the first option.
Or Robert Downey Jr. I think no, I'm gonna go with Robert Downey Jr.
I would love Robert Downey Jr.'s personality. I think he is hilarious. When you
Brad
see him
Pitt is
interviewed,
kind of droll.
yeah, and he's, so if you're sitting there, let's say you were to be driving from, let's say, Los Angeles to Florida. It's a long drive. You'd have to be sharing the car, stopping at hotels, all that kind of stuff. If you were to sit there with Brad Pitt, he would be sitting there talking about how he's going to be saving kids from fucking Africa and how, he's changed about 10,000 diapers in his life or whatever the fuck he talks about.
And how big of a bitch his wife is.
If you were to sit with Robert Downey Jr., he'd probably have some fucking awesome things to say, because Kim reads his Facebook posts and things like that, and if you look at those, he really is Iron Man. Like, he is not kidding. That's his personality, and I think that's awesome.
Well, you could talk to him about dope and smack and crack and whatever not, because I'm pretty sure he's done it all. He's probably done 1,000 different women that you and I wish we had, and.
Yeah. I saw that kick from here. No, yeah. And so if I could look like any celebrity, it would be a hard decision. It'd be one of two. It would either be David Hasselhoff.
Of course, the Hoff.
Yeah, of course, the Hoff. Or it'd be Ewan McGregor, because I think Ewan has that boyish good looks, but is also that super awesomeness that everyone's really.
What has he done lately? Like, you could look like him and you would do nothing for the rest of your life.
I'm going to do nothing for the rest of my life looking like me. So why would it matter? At least that way I would look awesome when I look at the mirror. When you look at the man looking back at you in the mirror.
You would have a good beard.
Yeah.
You would have a good beard and you could say, Anakin,
drop. Wait, no, that's the other guy. Fuck. I'm supposed to be the nerd on the show.
Sucks to be you.
I know. All right.
Should we streak for the cash?
We should streak a lot more.
Yeah, because we have no viewers now anyway, so it doesn't really matter what we do.
Have you done a streak for the cash recently?
What's that?
Have you actually submitted a vote for a streak for the cash recently?
No.
Yeah, neither have I. And someone's up to 29 in a row. It's dude, what kind of life?
What a loser.
What a loser. Damn, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there. All right, Matthew, let's start off if you are ready.
Oh, yeah, I am.
All right, Matthew. What will be the match result? We got the Manchester United. You're a make or you wank. Win versus Swansea City. Win or draw.
If you're not a mank, you're a wank. I'll take Manchester United. All right, we got the Italian Series A. Juventus at AS Roma. Will either team score 2 goals, and will anyone there be able to pronounce those teams? Yes or no?
I'm going to say at least one team will score 2 goals, because God help us, soccer gets more boring. All right, Matthew, let's go back to Major League Baseball. Who will win this matchup? We got the Boston Red Sox versus the New York Mets, not the Yankees.
Well, this is obviously going to be the Metropolitans pulling this one off. But can I say that I've become more and more interested in soccer? If the more I watch it, I'm like, hey, this is actually pretty cool. But I like the sports no one else does. I'm a hockey
homosexuality.
Hey, we've already discussed my sexuality, and it's probably up in question. Okay, let's go to stay in Major League Baseball, where you had the surprising Kansas City Royals facing off against the Tampa Bay Rays. Will they win that matchup?
Absolutely, they'll win that matchup. Even though they're on the road, it doesn't matter whether you're in the Tropicana Stadium or whether you're
Doesn't
in
matter if you drink Tropicana.
Tropicana. Kansas City Royals on the road for the win. All right, Matthew, let's stay in Major League Baseball where we've got the Padres facing off against the Phillies. Who will win this matchup?
Well, this one is definitely easy. We're going to go with the San Diego Padres to pull this one off on the road. Ashford doesn't got it right now. Let's head over to PGA Golf because I know you're a huge golf fan. Who will win the tournament? Will it be Jason Day or Bubba Watson, the two leaders heading in, or will it be any other golfer?
Well, I really like Phil in this one, and we got 1 day left for things to shake out. So let's go with any other golfer. All right, Matthew, let's head back into the MLB. Who will win this matchup? We got the Cincinnati Reds versus the Milwaukee Brewers.
Both teams are not really playing up to what they could have been this year, so we'll definitely take the Brewers to pull it off at home. We got the Mariners heading out to Chicago to face off against the Shy Sox. Who will win that matchup?
Let's go with Jose Quintana.
Quintana.
White Sox. White Sox win. White Sox win. Let's go to the next game where we're still in Major League Baseball. We got the Astros facing off at the Minnesota Twins. Who you got?
I'll take the surprising Twins to keep it going this year. Let's over to the French Liga, where we're going to have Paris Saint-Germain win versus AC Monaco. Win or draw. Who will win that matchup?
Well, I'm pretty sure you said AC Monaco, but I'm going to go with AS Monaco because Monaco. All right, Matthew, let's head back to Major League Baseball where we've got the Baltimore Orioles facing off at the Texas Rangers. Who you got?
Orioles. I'll take Holland to pull it off for the Texas Rangers in this game. Let's head over to the NFL, some preseason action with the Houston Texans taking on the New Orleans Saints, of which I have about 3 of them on my fantasy roster for our main league. So hopefully they will all do well. Who will win that matchup?
Who gives a shit? Let's go ahead and pick the Saints for the home game because nobody really gives a shit about preseason football. All right, Matthew, let's go back to baseball where we've got the St. Louis Cardinals at the San Francisco Giants. Who you got?
My San Francisco Giants. Let's take them to win. They've had a down year, but they'll pull it off against that really good St. Louis roster. Let's head up to the Canadian Football League, where the Saskatchewan Roughriders, will face off against the Ottawa Red Blacks, Who will win that matchup?
I don't even know what you're saying, but let's go with the Ottawa Red Blacks. No, that's the Red Blacks.
Red Back?
No, that's Red Blacks. Is that like socio-political correct?
Is that super, super racist? Where's Daniel Tosh? Can we get a ruling on Ottawa Red Blacks?
Yeah, where are we at on this one? I don't feel comfortable saying Red Black. I think I'd rather say the N-word.
Exactly. I don't feel it either. Is it like an African American and an Indian mated?
An Aborigine?
An Aborigine?
Except for Canadian, a Canadian origine?
An Afrinigine?
Anyways, I feel completely...
get busted in by Al Sharpton. Let's keep going.
Yeah, I think we should ask Tosh about this question after the show, though, because Red Black just seems racist. Anyways, who you got out of this matchup? We got the Oakland A's against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I love my A's, but the Diamondbacks will pull it off at home. Let's head over to women who actually play sports. We have the Indiana Fever facing off against the Tulsa Shock. Who will win that matchup?
The Fever obviously have the better record, so why wouldn't they win on the road? Because nobody cares about the WNBA. All right, let's continue on to soccer, where we've got the Portland Timbers at the Seattle Sounders. The biggest matchup of the year, as far as I'm concerned, in MLS soccer. Who you got?
It is the biggest matchup of the year. And look at that. It is 50-50. Nobody knows who's going to win this one.
Nobody's giving a shart about it.
The Sounders are, hey, what? Fuck you. The Sounders are good. The Timbers are getting better. It looks like the Sounders are at home. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to pick them. But I'm going to be cheering my ass off for the Sounders tomorrow.
Traitor.
2 o'clock, whenever that game is on. I'm going to be watching it. That's going to be an awesome game. Brett and Cherie may be at the game, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, excellent.
I know. They have season tickets, but to pay for them, they used to sell the game for the Timbers because they would make so much money on that one, it would pay for the rest of their season tickets. Anyways. All right. Let's head to the WNBA, gang, because I know that you're a huge WNBA fan. Where we're going to have the Mercury versus the Lynx. So will the Mercury have a higher 3-point made, or will the Lynx have a higher winning margin? Mercury gets the tie.
I'm going to go with the Lynx, just crushing them out of the water. Just bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. All right, Matthew, let's go to who will win this matchup. We've got the Arizona Cardinals at the Oakland Raiders.
It's preseason, and while the Arizona Cardinals would win this game during the regular season all the time, I actually think that one of the strengths of Oakland is that they've got some good depth. So I'm going to pick the Raiders to pull this one off. Let's head over NFL preseason. We have the Cardinals and Raiders and the Cubs, and I hate how they do these. All right, NFL preseason versus MLB. We have the Cardinals and Raiders and the Cubs and Dodgers. Which one will have a higher total? Cardinals and Raiders, first half touchdowns or tie, or Cubs and Dodgers, extra base hits in innings 1 through 4. Seriously, ESPN? Fuck you. Fuck you, ESPN.
I completely agree. They can fuck off, but I'm going to go with the Cardinals and the Raiders. All right, Matthew. Who will win this matchup? We've got the Chicago Cubs at the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Could be an NL League preview of what we'll see in the playoffs. We'll go with the Cubs to pull this one off on the road. All right, last one, same game. How many plate appearances will occur? Seriously? How many plate appearances will occur in the 7th inning? 7 or 8 plate appearances or any other number?
I'm going to go with any other number just because it's not relevant.
Barrel. Wow. All right. Well, hey, let's take a quick look right before we go. We're taking a look at the draft summary from the team. And it looks like she put together a playoff caliber roster. The team didn't break many records with this draft, but they put together a high quality team to really face off against any matchup. They have a balanced approach. You know, Drew Brees, Marshawn Lynch, AJ Green, Jimmy Graham. She's got everything covered. I think she's really done a good job. I think especially getting Jimmy Graham in the 3rd round, that was pretty good. Drew Brees was still available in the 4th. Plus even a really good flyer with Jarvis Landry, which she picked up in the 6th. It was a great pick. So don't totally agree with the Mike Nugent pick. Although the team never mind. Although the team is no below average positions, kicker is where they could upgrade. Yeah, no one cares about kicker, though. So, really, she probably did the best of the whole league. So, there you go. Teresa, you had an amazing draft. Good for you.
She's fast asleep.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck her then.
I shall. But
But all right, well, we're gonna sign off here. So you guys have a great night, and thank you for watching. We really appreciate doing this show. If you're not watching this live, which you're probably not, please make sure to download, send us your questions. We'll answer them the next time we get together. So thank you very much. Peace out.
Boy Scout.